Welcome to the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ruben Uncut. Today's special, I guess, post-Thanksgiving episode. I'm talking to, technically I'm recording it before Thanksgiving, but you'll hear it after Thanksgiving. Talking to my buddy, Dean Kutris. Or maybe I should let it out early. I don't know. What do you think? Should I? What do you think, Dean?
I'm not a good that's not a good call for me to make. I'm not a good person in terms of timing has never been a strength of mine.
Hear
Um,
you. I'm still
I'm
trying to
really bad
figure
with
out the timing.
Yeah.
Like it's not consistent. Like some day, so like sometimes sometimes I'm just like I have no idea why more people listen to that episode than the other one.
Mm,
Like,
mm.
oh, like sometimes I'll think I've figured out like a good time to release them, and then like I'll release them in that I'll stick to that schedule. I've been sticking roughly to the schedule, but like sometimes it's like people don't even notice them until the day after. So I don't like hard to say. Hard to say.
And is it tied into the algorithm? I don't know.
Like honest, I assume there's some kind of algorithm to Spotify, which is why if you're listening, whatever you're listening to it on, people, please do whatever it is that your like the thing that's annoying is that podcast vendors, I don't know what else to call them, like they're none of their sites are the same. It's not like you can just be like, all right, make sure you go to the podcast vendor and hit the like button, because they might not have a like button. They might have like a star system, or some of them even let you write reviews for individual episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like and like some of them say follow and some of them say subscribe, and so it's like we're all trying to get around it's like we're trying to get around patents that no one has patented. Like it's like someone is afraid. It's like, oh no, Facebook has a like button. They might sue us for having a like button.
It could be the free market system too.
I mean, yeah,
the free market system at work.
That's
libertarian's dream world.
Yeah, where you have to get a new phone charger with all phones.
Oh my god. I just had to go through that with Apple because I just got an iPhone and I switched over from an Android. So I originally my first smartphone, well, it was technically a BlackBerry, but I don't know if that counts. But my first smartphone was an iPhone.
That's like a proto smartphone. Smartphones before everyone had
proto smartphone. Yeah. And so I had an iPhone for about like 4 or 5 years. And then I went in to renew, and the guy from Verizon convinced me to try a Samsung phone. And I was like, all right, let me give it a shot. Tried it for 30 days, absolutely hated it. I went to take it back. There was a crack in my screen. And they said, well, we can't take this back because there's a crack in the screen. So I was like, what the fuck? So I had to just get used to it. It turns out I found out when I changed the screen cover, it was the screen cover that was cracked and not the actual screen. So I could have turned in the phone, but I didn't. So that was back in 2015, and then this time around, I decided to go with the iPhone for a couple of reasons. One of them is I got a good deal on the trade-in, and the other reason was I have a Mac, and the video editing software on a Mac, iMovie, is just so much nicer. And
I have issues with iMovie, but I use it all the time.
But for my purposes, for like self tapes and stuff for auditions, it's great. It's easy. It's convenient. It like really just if you have something simple, it's easy.
I think the way it does green screen stuff is backwards, but that might just be me.
And on Zoom, that kind of sucks.
Zoom
don't like.
Zoom is way easier green screen than iMovie. The first time I tried to do a green screen in iMovie, I wanted to chuck a computer through a wall. It was like, why? This should go the other way. Like literally, this is counterintuitive.
I've never used a green screen in iMovie, so I haven't had that experience yet. But I'm sure I would react the same way, where I just want to throw something.
Yeah,
Like
no, I don't care
what?
for that.
Oh my god! You ever get that feeling when you're working on your computer and like you just I just want to throw this,
Hmm.
and something isn't working out, and you're just like, God damn it!
Yeah, no, but I'm an adult. I know you can't throw your things when they make you angry.
But there is a part of me that just kind of like, what if I threw my phone and it smashed against the wall?
Well, then you can't trade it in.
And I can't trade it in. My screen would be fucked. I couldn't get a new one. I'd have to go back to a flip phone.
Oof. Flip phones.
Ah, God. And that's just, oh my God.
Drug
I can't.
dealers and people who can't have those are for drug dealers, old people, and people who are too addicted to porn to have smartphones.
and like foreign exchange students.
That flip phone thing is a real example. Someone told me about one of their coworkers who had a flip phone. It was because if they had a smartphone, they'd just be looking at porn all the time. So they had to get a flip phone. Like, good on them for knowing their limits.
Yeah, seriously. At least they admit they have a problem. You know, I feel like that's an admission. Like, I got a problem and I can't be around certain things.
So before we started here, you told me that you sent me something on
I sent you
Facebook.
something. Yeah. So
Is this in a message or is it on my wall?
it's in a Facebook message.
New message.
Ooh, wait. Actually, I sent it to your Insta, so I don't know if you got it.
Oh no, I did get it because
Get the gist here.
They for if you were okay, let's see here. No, I'm not trying to block Dean. What is that? Okay.
Don't you just want to chuck your computer?
No, I want to check Facebook. What?
Yeah.
Why?
That would be
if you okay, apparently I have to reply to it. What?
Oh, yeah, just say
and suddenly I can see it. Okay.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's open this up here. Okay, well, let's. All right, so I'll pull it up so we can both see it here.
Okay, cool.
All right,
so this is from vox.com.
Okay.
For our listeners who cannot see what's going on. I can't hear the sound.
That's because I don't have the sound on.
Okay, can you start back from the beginning?
Actually, yeah.
Don't you just feel like chucking your computer?
I mean, I blame the way that let's see, I need to share computer sound. Okay, let's see if we can get this.
And driving this was the overturn.
Yeah, so if you can,
how do
you go backwards?
Which ended the federal right to abortion.
Okay.
Ah, damn.
Instagram, why can't I just rewind things? Okay, hold on.
Can you go to like a refresh or something?
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to refresh this.
Okay.
The chart, friggin'. Of course, it starts immediately.
Okay.
This chart. Democrats should have gotten crushed in the midterms. What happened? Vox.com.
Right. That's Vox, not Fox.
Yes, Vox.
VOX.
And let's see here. Presidential approval ratings at midterm elections. Let's see if while it's paused, let's see if we got Clinton, 1994, 48%. Bush in 2002 was at 61%. Oh, right, because he was riding the 9/11 wave.
Yep.
Obama was at 45%. Barely done anything at that point. Why are you being dicks to Obama? All right. Trump, 42% approval rating, and Biden, 41% approval rating.
So Biden's at the lowest. Biden has the lowest approval rating as of the midterm election at 41%.
Let's see what Vox.
And they say that in the video. I should have waited. Sorry.
Go ahead. Years after they were elected. You can pause to get the gist here. And this is a chart of how those presidents.
And this is a charge for the change in House of Representative seats for President's Party. I realizing that this might be difficult because we're having to describe the graph and then also listen to it.
No, yeah. Do we want to see if he explains it well?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what he has to say.
Parties did in the election that happened that year. Might want to pause here too. There's a trend. Unpopular president, huge losses in Congress. And Biden's approval rating was the lowest of them all. but what you'd expect to happen didn't. Something was different.
Hit pause there. I think we can explain that for all of these presidents, there was a huge swing, except for Bush, and the exception there was 9/11.
Yep.
There was a huge swing in the House of Representatives to the party that was not in the White House. So if it was a Republican, there was a huge swing to the Democrats. If it was a Democrat, there was a huge swing to the Republicans. That happens at midterms.
Or at least
it's like
it happens
a
at
known
midterms
phenomenon.
for the last 5 guys. Although to be
Right.
fair, I've heard it also happened for Reagan.
Right. It happened for Reagan too. The only person
Reagan
Bush
was
is
popular at that time too.
I can't explain it. I'm not that good of a political scientist, sort of explain that sort of situation. But you can see there that Bush is the exception. That's because of 9/11. So why don't we hit play again?
It's worth noting that even though Bush was the most popular, he only gained 8 seats for his party.
Right.
With that popularity.
Right. Yeah.
This is a chart of special election results for Congress over the last 2 years. Some elections the Democrats won, some that they lost, not much of a pattern. But each of these districts has what the website 538 calls a partisan lean, how it typically votes relative to everyone else. And sometimes Democrats did worse than that, and sometimes they did better. And if you chart that difference, you do see a pattern start to emerge right here in late June. The event driving this was the overturning of Roe v. Wade on June 24th, which ended the federal right to abortion. First-term presidents almost always lose tons of seats in Congress, and the major exceptions are driven by huge events like the New Deal, the Cuban Missile Crisis, and 9/11. And what these numbers suggest is that the overturning of Roe v. Wade has something in common with those events. So this is a chart of the approval ratings of presidents 2 years after they were elected. You can pause to get the gist here.
Okay, so now that just loops, so you can hit pause. So you can, the point is of this video is that they're saying that Roe v. Wade had a significant impact on the midterm elections.
Honestly, I don't think we needed a video for that. That was my assumption. Like, no, I'm like, if I'm being,
but they break it down with statistics and they put it in a bunch of charts and stuff like that. And
it's a good video. It's a good video. I'm not saying it's not a good video, but like, so like my deal with the midterms for me, and if anyone's listened to my midterm reactions, I was very salty about them. But I was salty about them because I live in Ohio, which means that I have to wake up and be like, JD Vance won. That fucking guy with a name like a used car salesman now runs my state.
He does sound
what's he famous for? Writing a book about being a hillbilly. Great. Exactly who I want running Ohio. Like he's not even from Ohio. Son of a bitch.
God.
But the truth is,
Ohio.
The truth is that I was also salty because honestly, I thought Roe v. Wade would be an even bigger wake up. Like I honestly anticipated I thought we were going to have major successes for Democrats because my first thought was there's no way people won't wake up and realize which party is actually marching us towards an autocracy. There's no way. Like Republicans have been claiming that like the Democrats are the fascists because they put in these temporary emergency actions that are almost completely gone now. And now here come the Republicans trying to like forcibly permanently change the political landscape. And like I thought in my mind that was too big of a red flag to have a red wave. And on a certain level I was right. Yeah, there wasn't a red wave.
Right.
But I also over anticipated the impact it would have, thinking that there'd be maybe not a blue wave, but like there was a part of me that thought there's no way that many people are dumb enough to go Republican. And there's no way that this won't get the Democrats the couch potato Democrats who only vote on presidential elections. There's no way they won't come out for this, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, statistically, apparently they did not all come out for this, apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently, like the voting, even though Democrats won Cuyahoga County, it apparently was not a great amount of participation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I saw a map of the United States after the midterm, and it was from the New York Times. There were arrows that were joining, like they drew out arrows, like if this state or this county went more to the right, or they went more to the left.
Yeah.
And interestingly, in comparison from the 2020 election, in Ohio, pretty much everywhere, like it all shifted like to the right, or I'm sorry, to the left rather.
Even the places
Which
that
I
went
thought
red.
was interesting, but that didn't affect the Senate vote at all.
Mm-hmm. So even the places that went red had a higher blue turnout than normal. Is that what you're saying?
Not a turnout, just the actually overall voting. Like counties in Ohio voted more blue.
So even though it wasn't enough to take out to make blue succeed in certain areas, it was a noticeable rise in blue voting.
Yes.
Well, I guess that's a positive. I mean,
yeah, but then you look at the South, and the South pretty much went right, which I was looking at, and I was like, wow. What does that mean?
The South is really in the Kool-Aid, man. Like, from everything I can tell, like a lot, although to be fair, there were some notable like surprise wins in the South too. Although to be fair, Arizona's more the Southwest.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not surprised there was a runoff election here because I live in Georgia. For everybody that doesn't know, so we have to do we have to listen to more ads from Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker, and it's mind numbing.
Herschel Walker was blowing up Twitter today because of his vocal gaffe in a conversation where he said erection instead of election.
I saw something like that. I don't have Twitter, but I saw that on Facebook.
There's a video of him, and he's got Lindsey Graham on one side, and I think I'd have to watch it again. I think it was Ted Cruz. It's like Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz are on either side of him. And the first time he says election, and then he says, this erection is about the people. And like the other two guys just sort of like look towards him and like try to pretend like nothing just happened.
Oh, that's a Freudian slip.
Yeah,
that is
no, but so the word erection was trending on Twitter today. And a lot of people, the funny thing is that a lot of people didn't know why it was trending, and a bunch of people just started posting their erections. Actually, a shocking number of people posted their floppy dicks, which is like, dude, it's not an erection.
Is that wait, on Twitter?
Oh yeah.
People are posting dick pics straight up on Twitter?
Oh yeah.
What?
Oh yeah. Twitter doesn't control for pornography.
Did this happen after Elon Musk took over?
There's always been porn on Twitter. It's just like there was a whole controversy a few years ago when Ted Cruz liked a porno one on Twitter because people can see what you like.
Ted Cruz liking a porno video.
People have been straight up posting. I don't know how far Twitter will let you go. Like most of what I've seen on Twitter is just like nudity. I don't know if I've seen any hardcore pornography on Twitter, but to be fair, I don't normally think to go to Twitter for my hardcore pornography because I'm not anonymous on Twitter.
Keep that stuff to yourself.
But
that's wild. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's just people just putting up dick pics on Twitter, man. That's all right. Well, I mean, whatever. Happy Thanksgiving, you know?
Yeah, no. I almost want to ask Elon, hey, Elon, are you going to keep letting people post their dicks all over Twitter? Is that going to be Twitter's new thing?
I don't think he knows what he's doing.
Tweet out with your dick out.
Tweet out with your
I couldn't think of a word for penis that rhymed with tweet.
Yeah, I don't think there is one.
Yeah, no, can't think of one. But yeah, no. Speaking of that, Twitter is a fucking train wreck right now.
Yeah.
Elon was just bragging about having like stuff about the World Cup trending at 20,000 posts. And I'm like, I think that's low. I specifically for like soccer, I think that is low. Okay. 20. I mean, to be fair, a good Twitter trend is normally like 5,000 to 6,000, but like Release the Ayer cut on November 5th got over got 200,000. So I don't know I don't know why I should be impressed by 20,000 tweets.
Yeah,
Elon,
yeah. I mean,
what are you bragging about?
I don't know.
I don't know. He clearly doesn't know what he's doing.
No, it doesn't sound like it. Just because you're a genius billionaire doesn't mean that you know how to run everything.
Like I don't even like it is questionable. I find both of those descriptors to be questionable for him too. Like for starters,
Yeah,
for starters, um for starters, is he a genius? Is he really? What has he done that would equivocate genius at this point?
in my defense, I just assumed he was because everybody else calls him a genius. So
Oh
I haven't.
no,
I
I mean
haven't looked into it.
you're not wrong. Like like the media used to suck his dick. Like, dude, there's a movie that came out I watched the movie Moonfall the other day,
Okay.
which is a Roland Emmerich movie. Are you familiar with Roland Emmerich?
Mm,
I'm sure you've seen his movies, even if you don't recognize the name.
okay, give me a couple names.
The Day After Tomorrow,
Oh, yeah,
2012,
Yep.
Godzilla,
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
Independence Day.
Okay. I know. Okay. I got you.
But whew, like he came out with a movie at the beginning of this year called Moonfall, which is like honestly, Roland Emmerich's movies are almost all the same.
Mm.
Like the last time he made a movie that wasn't just a giant disaster film was White House Down, where Jamie Foxx was. Basically it's Die Hard with the president, and it had the misfortune to come out at the same time as Olympus Has Fallen, which was like almost the same idea. But Olympus Has Fallen was way more successful at the box office, even though honestly, it's a way worse movie.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen Olympus Has Fallen, but it's trash. But anyways, I'm getting off track here. So in Moonfall, there's of course this super nerdy guy who's played by the one guy from Game of Thrones, Sam, the Night Watch librarian guy.
Yeah.
Who becomes a hero. So he plays the nerdy guy, the nerdy conspiracy theorist character, a trope of the Roland Emmerich film, by the way. You can't, like most Roland Emmerich films are going to have at least one conspiracy theory dude.
Well, they kind of end up being the protagonist.
Frequently. Although I mean, like his films are really built around the idea of ensemble casts.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's his whole thing is he just wants like people to come together. It seems like
a lot of
themes
people
are like people of different walks of life just coming together to fight a force greater than themselves.
I mean, that's a good way to put it. That is a generous way to describe his work. That's like if you want to just make it sound nice.
I try to sound nice.
If you wanted to be a dick to Roland Emmerich, you could describe it as Roland Emmerich. If you want to see movies where the most possible innocent people die at any given moment, like compared to all other movies.
Well, there was that thing about Star Wars about all the casualties on the Death Star that people started talking about. That I think they referred to that in
Clerks.
Something.
It's a joke in Clerks, the first Clerks movie.
Right. But that in an actual Star Wars movie, they talked about that. Or it might have been
one of the series. I bet it would have been one of the series.
Yeah, maybe it was like Mandalorian or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
they did talk
technically
about
in
that.
Return of the Jedi, they specifically say that the powers that it is still being constructed.
Right.
So the implication would be there were people who were just building it, although it apparently is fully operational, according to the Emperor, which is also what the Emperor said about his erectile dysfunction. But
speaking of erection,
yeah, exactly. But oh man,
do it.
So in Moonfall, though, the nerdy guy from Game of Thrones, there are numerous points in the movie where he makes jokes about how much he loves Elon Musk. And the funny thing is that this movie literally came out at the beginning of this year, and they have already aged like garbage. Like, those jokes have literally. It's just like I'm watching it while he is burning Twitter to the ground. I'm watching it after Elon Musk, who's supposed to be a genius, spent $44 billion on a company that has never been profitable. Like, it's insane.
You know, I kind of hope, I secretly hope that it just sort of fails, and I know that like something else will come and take its place in the
A lot
social
of people,
media sphere.
a lot of
But
people are already going.
I'm kind of rooting for its failure, just like with virtual currency. I am rooting for that house of cards to fall. And I know that like a
That
lot
kind
of
of
people
is.
have money, a lot of people have money tied up into it. But it's just it's only something that has value because other people agree that it has value. It's
I mean,
also
that's
terrible, terrible for the environment.
also true. And like the thing about cryptocurrency that they're not going to tell you is that like in the best case scenario, the most likely case scenario, there will eventually only be one, maybe two or three cryptocurrencies at the most that would survive.
That's
Like
fine.
eventually, like in a world of competition, eventually it's going to come down to which money do vendors accept,
Yeah.
and whichever money the most vendors accept will have the highest value,
Mm. It's
because you
yeah.
can't spend it places where they don't accept it.
Right. Right.
So eventually some cryptocurrencies just die. Most of
Yeah.
them will just die. Have you ever seen the show Silicon Valley?
No.
It's a great show. You should check it out. But there's this one part where one of the characters, they're thinking about starting their own cryptocurrency to try and fund their operations. And like he goes to this billionaire investor guy who's kind of a douche. Uh
Huh.
and he goes to him and to ask him about cryptocurrency, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, no, I started like 32 different cryptocurrencies." Yeah, 32? How many of them succeeded? One of them. And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Oh yeah, worth billions." And like the whole time they're having the conversation, they're in this they're in like a literal like garbage dump.
Mhm.
And there's people just like sifting through the garbage.
Mhm.
And he's basically, and he's like, "Well, what happened with it?" And he's like, "Well, I put all of it that I owned on a thumb drive, and now it's in this garbage dump."
Oh, I do remember seeing something from that. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember that actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so crypto,
Oh,
man, it's
irony.
just it's just stock in something that you probably won't need.
Well, no, the difference is that if you buy stock in a company, it's a company that makes something
Mhm,
or they offer a service. Like you buy stock in like Home Depot or Apple,
mhm.
you know that there's a company that produces some sort of product or provides a service. I don't know what Bitcoin does. Like I
I
don't know what the companies do.
well,
It
actually, I can.
mines it mines currency. So basically you're paying for something to do something.
So so Bitcoin, um,
Or any virtual currency.
well, virtual currency, the whole idea is that it is kind of like buying stock, but since it's a currency, there's the implication that you're also going to be constantly exchanging it. And
Okay.
and the whole way that the value of the Bitcoins increases is the idea that more and more people are buying pieces of Bitcoin, because that's the
That's
thing.
I understand that, but that's not the same as owning a stock.
No, it is in the regards to the fact that you can pump and dump it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
how it's the same.
that's fucking with the valuation, but it's only intrinsic value is that other people want it.
Yeah.
A company's stock price is based on other things besides other people wanting the stock. That's part of it, but it's also based on the value of the company.
Mm-hmm.
There's an inherent intrinsic financial value that's tied to the operations of the business that the stock price is based on. So if Bitcoin doesn't have that, it is basically just saying, I will agree to give you this because other people are agreeing to give you
It's
that.
like an empty calorie stock.
It's
It's like
yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, it's basically sugar.
mm-hmm.
It's a bag of nerds or Skittles.
And so so I've been on Tinder, and it's not going great Tinder's terrible.
Online dating sucks, dude. I'm
so
sorry.
so far, I met the people I've matched with are sex workers, people I
no.
already know from Facebook, and recently someone trying to get me into crypto. Like, no, I matched with this cute Asian girl, and I was like, hell, what? No way. And like, so immediately I start talking to them, and they're like, hey, do you mind getting on WhatsApp? And like, first of all, always a
that's
red
your
flag.
first. That's always
a
that's
red flag. The
red
second
flag.
someone wants to talk somewhere that isn't on Tinder, that's when you gotta start going, is this person a bot? Is this person are they going to try and get me to sign up for a dating site?
It might be Boris from some Eastern European country, you know.
But so I start talking to them on WhatsApp, and they start talking all about how like they're all about investment, and what they really want to do with their life is help other people learn how to invest their money. And then they start talking to me about their uncle. They put me in their uncle's group chat. Your uncle. I don't know if they really have an uncle. Who knows? Maybe it really is an uncle and his niece out here just trying to sell that Bitcoin. But like either way, like it doesn't matter. It's like because the joke I'm working on for when I get on stage with this is when we were talking about pumping and dumping, we were talking about different things.
There's something to go there with that.
Yeah, no, because like they were literally, it's like, oh, this is a person who wants
anytime as soon as I get a hint that somebody is trying, because I've been on dating apps too, and I'll get straight up like unsolicited text messages from people. I don't know how they get my phone number, but they start asking me about cryptocurrency, and then I just turn it back on them and I ask them if they want to invest in my investment opportunity. And they're like, oh, what is your investment opportunity? And I'll just make something up stupid, like real estate or condoms or like rubber cement or something like that. Like just something totally ridiculous. Be like, yeah, why don't you and just totally bullshit them. Be like, yeah, I've seen financial gains on my return on investment that I haven't seen in years. And it's amazing. And you should get in on this too before it tops out.
Oh no, you want to sell me Bitcoin? Well, let me tell you about my deal. I'm trying to start a business because I own a patent for a condom that feels like it's not there at all. Would you be interested in investing?
Exactly. That sounds like a great opportunity.
I've been watching. I've been watching that Shark Tank on YouTube.
Yeah, I watched those old clips too.
And like, which by the way is the best way to watch that show. You don't need a whole half hour of Shark Tank.
All of that. It gets repetitive after a while.
Like, but it is like I do find it fascinating to watch how investors and capitalists think.
Mm-hmm.
And like, because you can like learn a lot about like their state of mind from watching that show.
Mm-hmm.
And also like how not to pitch something to people.
Yeah.
Fun fact: the number one thing anyone is interested in when you go in to get their investment is, are you already making money with it?
Yeah.
Like if you're already making a profit, they immediately want to fund you, which is like, it's like, okay, it's like gambling, but but you're betting on a sure thing.
Or if they aren't turning a profit, but they just sort of need something to help them out. And it's like, if I get this one thing out of the way, which one of you might have to offer, like distribution or retail sales or something like that. And it's just, I just need a bigger platform.
The other thing they like is when you own the patent to something.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. They're like, do you own the patent for this? Can anyone do this? If anyone can do it, they're like, oh. They will settle for if you just have really good branding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they want you to have the patent.
They want you to have the patent. Yeah. Yeah. And that's important, Man. But it's Shark Tank's kind of, it's interesting. It is one of those reality shows I enjoy watching. I do watching those cooking reality shows too.
Oh yeah, no, I was watching they're on HBO Max right now. They have Thanksgiving Chopped.
Oh yeah, okay.
Which I'm a little bit confused as to whether or not this is like an actual series, like actual seasons worth of episodes about that are all Thanksgiving themes, or if they just took the Thanksgiving episodes from a bunch of different seasons. I can't tell. I've only
Okay.
seen 2 of them so far, but like
Okay.
no, I've seen 2 and I started a third.
Okay.
But the first one was Chop Champions doing Thanksgiving themed baskets, and then it was like community heroes doing Thanksgiving baskets, like
I've
people who
seen
do
that
charity
one.
work, and a cop.
Yep.
Not the same thing, people. But the cop won, by the way. But no. I've worked with some good cops in the world. I don't want to say that all cops are bad, but y'all need to do better.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, no. The third one I didn't actually watch was going to be the Chopped Children episode.
That you could chop children episode.
It sounds funny, but like, but they apparently do episodes where they have kids do it.
Yeah, no, I get that, but just chop children just sounds
Yeah.
a little like putting those back behind each other. It sounds like what happened to one of the kids on Willy Wonka, you know,
Yeah,
in
I
the
know.
chocolate factory.
Oh, this is
Augustus.
So this is a weird transition, but so obviously there was a terrible tragedy in Colorado, and actually, as of this recording, there was another tragedy at a Walmart in West Virginia.
I think it was just Virginia, wasn't it?
It might be just Virginia. I get those places mixed up, but
it's valid.
Yeah. So, but ABC, some ABC channel affiliate station, has interviewed the father of the shooter in Colorado, and
the father of the shooter.
Yeah, and I watched the clips, and holy shit, fucking disturbing.
Really?
Okay, first of all, and I can pull the clips up if you want, but I'll give you a quick overview of them. First of all, his father looks like Josh Brolin playing an incredibly ableist caricature. So like I don't know what's up with the guy. I don't know if he has is just like had a white collar job that wore him down, or if he has like a legit situation going on with his mind, or or if he like used to do meth or something, because he moves his hands move a little weird, but besides the point. But so they're talking to him, and basically he starts talking about it. And he was like, yeah, someone was telling me there was like an incident with my son, and they told me it was at a gay bar. And I was like, holy shit, I hope he's not gay. And like literally in this conversation, this guy at several points shows more concern for the possibility that his son could have been gay than that he was a shooter. At one point, actually actively says he encouraged violence at a young son because you got it, because no one had to fight. That's how you get what you want in life. Yeah.
Wow.
And repeatedly said that being gay was not okay. Said he was a Mormon conservative Republican. Yeah, no, it's crazy.
That's I mean, I just want to say, I have a friend who's a Mormon. And
I'm sure most Mormons I've seen did not seem like this gentleman.
Hang on 1 second. I feel like somebody's knocking on my door. Hang on.
Okay.
Sorry. Pause real quick.
So while you stepped away, I actually found the uncut clip of the interview with this guy, and I would play it, but it's like 20 minutes, and I don't know how long you got.
I got I have about 25 minutes. 7:30 is
okay. Then let's not. I can play the short clips, but I just want to share the beginning of what I just want to tell you the information I just learned at the beginning of this clip, which actually explained a lot of things to me almost immediately. Okay. The first thing the news people ask him in the clip is, what do you know about your son's history of mental illness? And the guy basically says that he hadn't seen his son in years and actually thought he had killed himself. Like he thought his son apparently thought his son had committed suicide in 2016. And his mother may have told him that his son had done that. But apparently, so his father Maybe a conservative Republican Mormon now, but he used to be a porn star MMA fighter.
Whoa. What?
Which actually now explains he's probably definitely been punched in the head a lot.
He's got some,
Which
yeah,
explains some of his explains some things. But
like
I do want to show
function.
but I figured a better way to describe it. He looks kind of like if Josh Brolin was auditioning for the role of Sling Blade.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I'll share the short, disturbing clips with you real quick here.
Okay. Oh my God. I thought this is why mental health services are so important in this country.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, he does look like Josh Brolin. Oh my God. No, that's just straight up Josh Brolin and oh yeah.
All right, so let's see. Am I sharing sound? Yeah, I'm sharing computer sound. All right, so here is the clip.
There was a shooting involving multiple people.
I got to turn it up because he's.
And then later on going to find it.
Kind of hard to understand.
There was a shooting involving multiple people.
Right.
And then later on going to find it's the gay bar.
Yeah, right. And
I was like, oh my God, is he gay? As a scared, oh my God, shit, is he gay? And he's not gay, so it's
well, you guys had conversations about that. You were.
Oh yeah,
you
I was
you
adamant.
told him. Yeah, you were adamant that gay is bad.
I'm a Mormon. I'm a conservative Republican, and we don't do gay. We don't do gay.
Yeah.
I can't get answers from the attorneys really, but they're saying that somebody's it's involving a gay bar or some shit. I don't know. I don't know what the heck he did at a gay bar. I don't know what's going on.
Well, he's accused of going on a mass shooting at a gay bar and killing 5 people.
Colorado.
Okay, well, that's shit. If he's accused of doing that, I'm surprised he's not gay. I say that, but he's not gay. There's a shooting involved.
Okay, so I'm not a doctor.
There's no excuse. I just want to repeat one thing he said, which was, "There's no excuse for that." But I'm glad he's not gay. What the fuck?
What the absolute hell? I couldn't understand a lot of what he was saying. He was sort of mumbling, and I was like, "What?"
He does mumble pretty bad. But
and
what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I'm not a doctor, but that guy has some serious has some sort of disability. He's got he just looks the way he talks and everything. He's not
he
all
used to be an MMA fighter.
Yeah, he's got brain damage,
I bet. I mean, in all honesty, if he used to do porn, I wouldn't be surprised if he used to do a lot of hard drugs too.
He's not clicking on all cylinders, And actually, if anything, he might have a cylinder that's going in overdrive.
But there's another clip they have up here.
Oh my God.
This is the one where he talks about encouraging his son to be violent.
I praised him for violent behavior really early. That's something that works. It's instant, and you'll get immediate results. And you'll always get what you want. You're good at fighting.
Had you taught him more tolerance? Let me be direct. Do you think, he would have been more tolerant of gay people? Apparently. I
think that my anti-gay, anti-Semitic thing comes from conservative writing. I'm a conservative extraordinaire, and I've been very vocal about that. I support Randy Voppel, his grandfather. I love Randy Voppel. He's a good American. Hopefully he'll be president someday.
Shooter's grandpa.
Randy Voppel.
Randy Voppel. Randy.
That's a good man right there. That's the best man for the job. Mm-hmm. It was okay to be gay. It's like he says, now it's cool to be gay. It's not. I think it's not cool at all. I think it's my opinion about gays is that it's just not okay. I think we should stand up against homosexuality. I praised him for violent behavior.
So many problems there.
So many problems. So it said it was the shooter's grandfather. Does that make it his father?
Yes. This guy was just endorsing his own father's political career. Who
had a Trump MAGA hat on and was sort of standing there with a thumbs up.
Here's the quote from Nose Lies, Brian Tyler Cohen. He then went on to praise the Colorado shooter's grandpa, a MAGA Republican politician named Randy Voppel, who supported the January 6th insurrection.
Yeah.
Now, right now, his lawyers are claiming that he is non-binary. The shooter, that is. Now, I don't know if that's true, because my first thought is this seems like so I have two thoughts on that. Either it is a very hollow, problematic attempt by his lawyers to try and use identity politics to shield him from getting accused of hate crimes.
Mhm.
Well, shield them.
Yeah.
Or they are non-binary. And the reason he shut up this place was because of all the self-hatred that he had focused into himself from these beliefs that he was taught growing up. Like those would
And
be
you
my thoughts.
combine that with the way that his father brought him up about using violence to settle problems, and him being praised like that. I mean, no wonder this kid ended up shooting up or ended up being a criminal. I mean, you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we were joking about, like, throwing a laptop and shit, but like that was a joke. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
Violence doesn't solve the answer.
Absolutely not.
Doesn't solve the problem. Violence isn't the answer. It doesn't solve the problem.
And I just want to clear one thing right here, just to make it absolutely clear. Gay people are not a problem.
Right.
Gay
exactly.
Not, like,
dude, I'm sorry. Wait. I got to defend myself. Yeah, exactly. It's not. There is no problem to be answered anyhow.
Yeah. No. Exactly. I mean.
Yeah. So I apologize. I didn't mean this.
I didn't think you meant. I didn't think you meant that. To be clear, I didn't think you meant that. But yeah, no. Like, I just think that that's a thing right now in America, where a lot of people are being misled into this very problematically dangerous concept, which is that people are free. Like, this moral panic against homosexuals it's not good. It's a serious. It honestly, I think, is one of the biggest problems facing America, and the reason that's scary is that it's totally constructed.
Yeah,
it's a totally construct. Like, we have lived in coexistence with gay people for a good bit now, and it's honestly been going pretty great. The existence of gay people and trans people is not a threat to straight people or straight identity. This is
not at all.
The distortion of facts and data is just alarming. Like, right now, like, a big thing that they're trying to present it as is, if you look at the statistics, there's even more LGBTQ kids than there used to be, but they're not taking into account several factors that factor into that. One, in a less oppressive society, more people will be honest about who they are.
Yep.
And B, we've done a lot of expanding to what counts as LGBTQ since the 90s. Like, we didn't talk about asexual people in the 90s. We didn't talk, like, if you weren't the literal LGBT or even T at that point, which the T was not talked about very much in the 90s. Unless Eddie Murphy was getting in trouble for something. That's a terrible joke. I apologize. Well, it's not really a joke. It's a reference, but still, the idea that the point is, you can't make kids gay.
It's
it's not a thing.
The fact that there are more people who are coming out and identifying as that speaks to the fact that more people are being accepted, and we have created the conditions where they can come out and be who they truly are. Whereas in the past, it went from killing them, just straight up murdering them, or to social, what would we call it? Isolation. But now we are at the point where at least we try to be fully accepting. I think on the whole, I think majority of people are. A vast majority of people are accepting of LGBTQ people. It's this radical minority of people, and it's just enough people to make it a problem. And people don't realize that rhetoric is feeding into this.
Oh yeah.
The way that you speak about people is feeding into this. And all of those talking heads on social media, on Fox News and on conservative news outlets are just creating a panic, and they're putting this poison into the water, and people are drinking it and they're believing it.
Yeah, it's true. And like, listen, Christians, I hate to tell you this, but you didn't invent marriage. Like, it doesn't belong to you. Like, marriages exist in almost every culture and society in the history of the world, with the exception of cultures that experimented with like polyamory. With the exception of those cultures, almost everyone has marriage.
Right.
Marriage has been around for thousands of years, and actually, the function of marriage has only changed slightly, but mainly only slightly because we don't form political alliances with marriage anymore. That's the major difference.
Maybe we should.
I mean, capitalism has hit us pretty hard with this, hey, marry for love thing, which is probably because it makes you poor. It's probably because it makes you poor. That's probably why they've been pushing it.
Well, it sells a lot of stuff. It sells movies. It sells cards.
Movies, TV.
It sells holidays.
Yeah. People do look. Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, so like, this is a thing I'm just going to keep saying, which is Christians did not create marriage. No. In fact, marriage existed before Christianity was even a thing. there's so much marriage in the Bible that exists before Christianity.
Why are we tethering our beliefs about that stuff to the Bible, to the Old Testament or New Testament?
What
and like I understand it, and I like, you know, it's a book. It's a good book. It provides guidance for people. But like, why, if people who view that as the literal word of God, I like, you can have your own beliefs, but I think that's just I just don't agree with that viewpoint.
I mean, in my statement on that has always been, you can't trust people who take the Bible too literally, because the Bible literally has parables in it, and parables are literally not real stories.
Right.
Like, it even tells you these are parables.
Right, exactly. And even if there is a grain of truth in the stories, because like, the fascinating thing is there, and I can't really speak on this, but like, you read some stories in the Bible and you read them in some other parts of literature. There's like, sometimes there's a through line, like with Noah's Ark and the flood. Like, I feel like that was a story that was sort of cross-cultural, based on
there are stories across different cultures of different flooding. Yeah. Now, I will say, in fairness to that, like, the thing that always comes to my mind is that, like, how much would it actually have had to have flooded to have convinced people that the whole world had flooded back then?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, think about it. Like, if you're on some like area that is doomed to go completely underwater, and like your continent just gets flooded completely, and you're looking around and you're like, man, I guess it was everything. But it might not, but it probably wasn't. It was probably just everywhere that was on the coast.
Yeah, it was probably really enough for it to be like, you know, and then it just got exaggerated over time.
It only had to be flooded enough to confuse people who thought the earth was flat. It just like, that's the reality of that.
Looking at you, Kyrie Irving.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that's the other crazy shit that's been going on with Kanye West and all them and whatnot.
That's oh god, this place is a mess right now.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about Kanye West.
No.
All I'll say is that he should have known Adidas would drop him. He should have done some basic research on the country of Germany before signing a deal with Adidas.
I don't think Kanye does that sort of forethought.
I mean, somewhat, like, if he really is a genius, like, that's the thing. It's like, if you're really a genius, how did you not realize that what you were doing was a crime in the country of the people who give you the most money?
Isn't there a saying that like emotional intelligence is actually a better marker of like overall intelligence than IQ?
I mean, he's definitely lacking emotional intelligence. But to be fair, I don't know if he's ever had his IQ done either. Like, I think a lot of his is just egotism.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think people just yes man him. Either his manic side is so intense that that literally no one can get through to him, or he has surrounded himself by yes men who just feed into his insane ego.
Now, are you talking about Kanye here? Or are
I
you
am talking
talking
about
about
I am
Donald
talking about
Trump?
Kanye.
Because it sounds very similar to Donald Trump.
Because it is very similar to Donald Trump. This is what being an egomaniac looks like. This is what being not just a narcissist, but an egomaniac.
Mhm.
People whose self-identity is their whole foundation, where it's
Yeah.
like, I am a genius. I am a great businessman. This is obviously I deserve everything I get, and you all should realize I'm right all the time.
Mm.
Suck my dick. Like that's what these people are.
Mhm.
They have no sense of humility. They don't have enough self-awareness
Yeah.
to
And
come out of it.
they can't even like at a certain level they can't make fun of themselves either. They can't self-deprecate.
Supposedly, Kanye claims that the fish sticks episode of South Park was funny and that he totally got it.
Oh.
Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that episode.
Kanye West did release a statement on that episode. I don't remember him releasing a statement about the time where they made fun of his wife for being a hobbit, which was actually hilarious. Because it would like the whole show, like Kanye West would show up like anywhere someone had accused his wife of like being unattractive or a hobbit, and like he would just be like, "My wife is not a hobbit," and then he would go on to describe distinctly hobbity things, like she just liked to hang out in a hole in the ground and smoke a pipe with a wizard. Is that a hobbit? And then he'll take a moment. He'll go and he'll talk on his phone. He'll be like, "Bitch, you sure you're not a hobbit? What about the Gandalf? Oh, okay. It is not a wizard pipe. It is an inhaler."
Was that all in South Park?
That was on South Park, yeah.
Oh man,
It's a Wendy Testerberger episode, which don't happen a lot, but it's actually pretty funny.
What's a Wendy Testerberger?
Wendy Testerberger is one of the female child characters in South Park.
Oh yeah,
the one who dates Stan on and off.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Character is honestly a little bit underrated. She doesn't have a ton of one, but she does occasionally get some episodes.
She's got some quality stuff in there. Yeah. I haven't watched South Park in years though, so it's like I loved it for a long time, and then I just got I feel like I just kind of got tired of it. I don't know why.
Honestly, I still love South Park because South Park, in my opinion, continues to evolve. Like South Park still experiments and still tries new things, and they maintain continuity better than other shows. If you have Paramount Plus, I definitely recommend going to Paramount Plus to watch their COVID specials.
I saw one of the COVID specials. I think I saw the one when the vaccine had just come out, and like Walgreens was like turning into the club.
Yeah. So like, here's the thing that's fucked up is that like, because of their deal with HBO Max, the first COVID special, you have to watch on HBO Max because it was originally released as part of the regular South Park season. And then Paramount was like, "Oh man, one of our biggest properties is on HBO Max. How do we get some South Park on Comcast?"
I remember when South Park was on HBO
and
Max.
that's hilariously, their streaming war specials are definitely making fun of the streaming war specials. Make heavy fun of like the streaming wars. I definitely recommend, if you have a Paramount Plus or a friend of Paramount Plus, I recommend watching the specials that are on Paramount Plus.
I'll see what I can get. I just got
they go hard against crypto.
Oh, that's right. I heard about
I
that.
won't I won't
I
I won't
can't
spoil any of the
wait.
jokes,
Oh,
but I
I gotta
definitely
watch
recommend
that.
because they go hard on cryptos and NFTs.
Good.
They like
You know
yeah.
what? You know what? When I saw those commercials at the Super Bowl, I was like, this can't be a good thing, because I don't know if you recall the .com bubble of 1999, or maybe it was 2000, but there was a fuck ton of Super Bowl commercials about all these .coms, and then like the next year, it just all busted.
Hmm.
It feels very similar.
Absolutely. Friggin' yeah.
Oh,
They
God.
they went hard after all the celebrities who endorsed crypto also.
Yeah, yeah. I still like Matt Damon and Larry David, but still, fuck them for taking that money.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck
I
that
for,
decision.
there's a woman who did it too. I forget who she was, but they make fun of all of them in the special.
Good.
So
God.
I definitely, yeah, if you get a moment, I definitely recommend checking them out.
I'll have to check that out. There's a lot of things that I need to watch. I got Disney Plus. Like, I've always had Disney Plus, but I got my own account. I was actually logged into my brother's account. Um,
Oh yeah.
so I have it now because I upgraded my phone. I got the Disney Plus bundle
Oh yeah.
with Hulu and ESPN.
Oh nice.
So yeah, but I gotta find somebody that has Paramount Plus, because I also want to watch Yellowstone too.
I hear that show seems to be popular.
I watched a couple episodes with my dad, I think last year around Christmas time, and it was like the first couple episodes, and I was like, this is really good. So I gotta check that out. There's a
Nice.
bunch of stuff that I gotta watch, but I keep rewatching the same stuff over and over again.
So what you been watching any of those shows on Disney? So which shows on Disney Plus you been checking out?
What did I watch? Oh, there was a National Geographic one about the Smoky Mountains that I
No one
watched.
cares about that. No, I'm kidding. That's not why
I
people get Disney Plus.
know, I know, I know, I know. Um, I I gotta watch. I mean, any of the new stuff or the previous stuff.
I don't know. Have you seen the She-Hulk show?
No, I have not.
Because I wanted to ask you specifically about because you auditioned for that, right?
Right. I was on a veil check, which means like if you get a veil check for something, you're like one of three actors that they want to cast in the role. And they ask you, they're like, basically, what's your availability for these shoot dates? And the role was the social media bro. So I saw the clip of it, and I saw like because I remember it from my audition, and basically like they were at this event or something, and this guy was being really misogynistic, and and I forget exactly what happened, but in that, if you see the social media bro part, that could have been me, but I missed out. So
You if he's the character I think he is, I will say like he 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 looked a little bit more on the like nerd side than you.
yeah.
Like you have a stronger chin.
Okay. I think that's the same guy, actually.
Mhm.
I think that's the guy you're talking about. Yeah. And you
Or
know
a
what?
scarf, the whole thing.
And that sort of like casting decision is like legit. They might have looked at me and they might have said, you know what? His look, he's got too strong of a chin. We want to go with this sort
Mhm.
of that's what will separate you from getting a part. You could be just not the right height. If you're in a scene with a co-star or something like that, or another actor, and you're taller than them or shorter, like they're like, no, no, no,
Or
we're
they
gonna
might
go this height looks better. Or
or
hair
they
color.
might
It could
be
be anything. It could be anything beyond your acting skill.
or you might be being cast as someone who's supposed to be directly related to another character, and like so if you don't look like the other actor enough, then it's like
Yep.
so like I
Yep.
watched like I don't know exactly how it went down, but I watched this new Sylvester Stallone movie this year on Amazon Prime called The Samaritan.
Okay.
which is based on a comic book that, as far as I'm aware, only has 2 issues. But I looked up the comic book afterwards, and the thing that stuck, like, I still have no idea like how close they are to each other. But the
Mhm.
thing that immediately hit me was, in the show, the kid is Latino, but on the comic book covers, he's clearly black. And like, I had this moment where I was like, how how does that work out?
Mm.
Like how can you replace one minority with another minority? Is that a thing you can do? It
I
seemed
mean,
weird.
it depends if they have creative license over that. You know what I mean? If they can make those decisions without any objection. I mean, for some reason they thought that the Latino character would read better than the African American character.
I mean, my
Who
thought
knows?
now is maybe it's because of who they got to play the mom. I don't know.
Maybe. And it could very well be.
Because
You know?
the mom is was actually one of the more famous people in the movie. She's from Orange is the New Black.
And they might have cast her in that part because she might have more of a following.
Mhm.
You know, there's
Yeah.
there's all kinds of reasons, all kinds of decisions why things like that are made. It's not necessarily because they're racist or prejudiced or something like that. They're being superficial.
Yeah. I mean, if there's one thing I'm confident in, is that a lot of higher ups in the movie and television industry are probably superficial.
That and you know, who draws the biggest crowd, you know, who would draw the biggest following. And honestly, I mean, they might be sleeping with the producer, or they might have some sort of deal, like a back end deal, where they're like, hey, I'll do this for you if you put this person in this project.
Mhm.
Okay, well, what can we do? All right, we'll put her in this part. Well, we have, you know, like, there might be a little bit of that going on too, you know.
Oh,
Sort of like
Hollywood.
the quid pro quo. There was no quid pro quo. It was a beautiful exchange.
Of sex for
Sorry.
money.
What's that?
You said it was a beautiful exchange, and I said of sex for money.
Of sex. It was a beautiful exchange.
No quid pro quo.
No quid pro. It was a perfect. It was
The American
perfect
was money.
exchange.
I didn't give her any quids.
No quids, no quos.
I don't know if enough people would know that a quid is also slang for like the British equivalent of like a buck or something.
Yeah. I've heard that before.
But what was I? I just was thinking about. So like another incident of like characters, of minority characters being replaced with other ethnicities. One that people don't really talk about is Big Hero 6.
I'm not familiar with that.
Big Hero 6 is a Disney movie based on a Marvel comic book that, when the comic book was written, the whole idea was to set up like, oh, well, what are the superheroes in Japan like? Like that was the
Okay.
whole idea behind the comic book. But then Disney adapted it, and they replaced this kid's dragon with a inflatable medical robot. I don't Disney, man. But the more weird thing is that you see in the comic book, everyone in the comic book is Japanese because it takes place in Japan, and
Okay.
like every character on the team is Japanese. But in the movie, the kid is like half Japanese. Then there's a Latino character, a white girl, and a black guy.
Okay.
And I forget if there might be I might be missing a teammate here and there, but so if this had been like, it's just interesting to me because this move was not controversial at all, and no one has ever complained about it.
Okay.
So my thought has always been like, how does that work? How does it equal out? Is people being upset about things more about people noticing things than anything else? Because I think that actually might be part of it.
Yeah, I think so too. Just that definitely makes sense.
In fairness, I don't 100% know how problematic Big Hero 6's choices are. I feel like I would need to involve some people who aren't white to have that conversation.
Right. Yeah.
But
There's a
it
level of that sort of I don't know if I feel comfortable talking about either,
it does continue the Hollywood trend of replacing Asian people.
Yeah.
Which, if like, have you ever seen the movie Bulletproof Monk?
Oh, if I did, it's been a long time.
It is a terrible comic book movie starring Sean William Scott and Chow Yun Fat.
Okay. I remember when that came out.
And so I read the comic book actually before I saw the movie. And the thing is, there are no white people in the comic book. Like literally, it's this Tibetan refugee fighting Korean mobsters. And the whole idea is that there was this bulletproof monk who once upon a time, actually, no, there were white people in the comic book because there's a flashback to World War II where a bunch of Nazis invaded a Buddhist temple and like were fought off by the bulletproof monk, a monk who could stop bullets essentially. And this kid turns out is the descendant of that monk, and like he, it's a comic book about a guy who's good at martial arts, and it's just a simple, fun read. But then the movie comes out, and they made some choices. Choice number one: the main character Carr would now be played by Sean William Scott.
That's Stifler, right?
It is Stifler
from the American Pie movies. Okay,
yes, it is. And the Chow Yun Fat would play the classic bulletproof monk from World War II, who would somehow still be alive to mentor Sean William Scott's character.
Oh, that's the white savior thing.
Kind of, yeah.
Oh,
Which,
God.
speaking of white savior, I recently learned a historical fact that made me forgive the movie The Last Samurai a little bit. Because I found out The Last Samurai is actually based on a real white guy.
Oh. Okay.
However, that real white guy was French. I don't know why he is from America in the movie.
Because it's Tom Cruise.
I mean,
and they want to sell tickets.
I mean, yeah. Tom Cruise, you can't do a French accent? Would it kill you to expand what you can play a little bit, Tom Cruise?
He doesn't need to. He's making billions of dollars in movies. He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to stretch. Why bother? You lose the brand, man. You start turning out stinkers, you lose the brand.
I mean, fucking Tom Cruise.
The guy has to like have. I was about to say he has to eat children, but I want to get off of that sort of negative trope. He has to take some sort of supplement to keep himself looking the way that he looks. Or it just might be money, like South Park said. They just inject money.
Well, that's how you cure AIDS.
Right. Yeah, I was kind of making that crossover.
I mean, it's not. I mean, it's kind of the same thing, though, really, because like the whole idea is if you have money, you typically can live longer and healthier.
Yeah.
Unless you really don't know how to take care of yourself.
Or unless you don't care. It's like like a lot. It's been weird over the last, I'd say, like decade. There's been a lot of celebrities who have passed away from cancer, and like early on in life too.
It's honestly probably from going on planes all the time.
Could be.
Because a thing they don't talk about is that when you go on an airplane, you are exposed to radiation.
Oh, I think I remember hearing that.
Yeah, it's actually it's connected to why like cancer is pretty common amongst people who work on planes too.
Really, even like pilots and the flight attendants.
Yeah, and what do you call it? Not a hangover. The thing when you're jet lag. Jet lag.
Oh, yeah.
Jet lag is actually a form of permanent brain damage.
Are you serious?
I am serious, yes.
Oh, man.
Provided that factoid I learned like a decade ago is in fact true.
Wow. Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, which actually explains why rich people sometimes go loopy.
Yeah.
They're flying everywhere.
Yeah, that's entirely possible.
They're bombarding their bodies with radiation. and the jet lag is giving them minor brain damage repeatedly over time.
But okay. Or you're an MMA fighter and you get the shit kicked out of you, and then you end up like that guy.
Yeah. You do meth for porn, and then you get punched in the head a lot for your other career.
Right. I keep forgetting about the meth the porno the porn work he did too. I don't want to cut him short. I apologize.
Yeah, no, how dare you forget that he once did porno?
I'm sorry.
Side note. So like by these videos, I can't help but notice that it says that Josh Brolin is trending. And like, I think it's because of this video. I would not be surprised.
It very well could be. Like, people might be calling on Josh Brolin to be like, can you play this guy?
God, he really does look like Josh Brolin.
He does. He really does.
And
I'm sure Josh Brolin, honestly, he could probably nail that.
Is it weird that the club was called Club Q? Like,
there was some weird irony there. I thought about that when I was listening. I was like, Club, what's up with the letter Q?
Like, obviously I don't like, I'm more implying like, do you think the shooter like was drawing lines in their mind that don't exist? Like, Club Q, it's a sign. It's a sign from QAnon.
I don't know if that guy has beliefs if they have beliefs, because from what you're telling me, they're non-binary. If they have beliefs in QAnon and they draw that conclusion, I mean, but that would kind of like, that would check out. You know what I mean? For somebody who's delusional like that, who thinks that way, that would almost make sense.
So, side note, the other thing that is trending is Matt Walsh, and I don't know why Matt Walsh is trending.
It's Matt Walsh.
Oh, he's fucking awful.
Oh, that twat. I know Matt Walsh.
I know.
Yeah. He's a fucking. Oh, like, God, he is a giant fucking douchebag. He is one person that, like, the violence exception goes out the window. If I run across that guy on the street, I will punch him. I might kick him, but I will inflict harm on that guy.
My thoughts on Matt Walsh is Matt Walsh is either just an obnoxious shock jock trying to like get in people's shit, or he's a genuine white supremacist.
He's a twat either way.
Oh man, yeah, either way he's a piece of shit. I'm not saying it's better if he's just like a shock jock who's just trying to be a dick.
He might be, but I mean, did you see Sam Seder on the Minority Report break down his interview with Joe Rogan when they were talking about trans people?
I've seen a bunch of different people watch that clip.
Basically that he was talking about how like millions of kids are getting hormone blockers in hormone inhibitors or something, and they pulled up the stat and it was like 4,000. And that's
over a course of years too.
And also he is supposed to be the expert on this. He did a documentary about it. He is the foremost like spokesperson for this kind of stuff. That is his crusade, and he doesn't know he doesn't know the statistics of the shit that he is supposed to be an expert about. And that's what Sam Seder said. And Sam Seder is 100% fucking right. Which leads me to believe that he is a shock jock.
Mm-hmm. So the other thing that people should be very alarmed about Matt Walsh talking about a lot is he's one of these Anglo-Saxon people who goes around talking about how we're losing the Anglo-Saxon culture. Which,
see, my family warned me about this when I was a kid. Like I had older grandparents and great uncles and stuff like that. That they were Greek, they were immigrants. They came over here and they'd say, "Watch out for those Anglo-Saxons."
And like, there's a reason for that, and that reason is that Anglo-Saxons are like the super white racists.
Yeah,
like these are the racists who literally believe there is also a hierarchy to white people.
Right.
Like that's the idea. That's if someone says we are losing Anglo-Saxon culture, that's
white culture.
Yeah, it's not just, but like that's the thing, is it's a specific white culture. It's like it is like on behalf of all the Celts, I have to say, fuck you, Matt Walsh. Because
did you? There was a special on, I think it was on Amazon, and it sort of tied like the roots of the KKK to like the clan structure in Scotland.
well, the KKK is technically connected to the Freemasons.
Okay.
And the Freemasons were originally a Scottish entity.
Okay.
So what happened was the Freemasons came to America, and they were originally considered like the Scottish Lodge or whatever.
Mhm.
But there was this dude whose name was something Pike, and basically he stole all of the Freemasons like secrets, and they kicked him out, and so he founded the Klan. And so
Oh.
that's what the Klan structure is based on, is actually Freemasonry.
Oh.
Which makes Freemasonry seem super witchy, by the way,
Yeah, right.
because like the Klan is super witchy.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing not witchy about the Klan.
They're going out at night and burning like crosses made of wood, and they're standing around in circles and they're chanting things like
dressed like witches.
just dressed like basically like in white witches' robes.
Yeah. And they call themselves things like Grand Wizards and Grand Dragons and Cyclops.
Yeah, there's a lot of paganism in there.
Oh, yeah, no, huge. But to be fair, there's a lot of paganism and white supremacy that we don't talk about also.
Yeah.
Because like huge like that, there was actually a huge, like the SS in the Nazis were pagans. Like that was actually one of the contributing, like, if you were in the SS, it also meant that you were connected to essentially this elite group that all believed in this specific, like, ancient Germanic pagan beliefs.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a fun fact. Also, there's some pretty notoriously racist pagans from like Greenland and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I might be mixing up which Nordic country, but you know what?
Probably
the Nords were all a little fucked up.
They were, and you know what? A lot of people's cultures were a lot of fucked up too. You know.
I mean, so like the actual history of Anglo-Saxons is interesting because they're not even the real British. They were immigrants.
What's that?
They were immigrants. They were literally people. So like Rome came in and they started taking over like where the Britons were, because the Britons were a different group of people.
Right.
And like, because they were actually part of the Celtic tribes. There were the Britons, the Welsh, the Scottish, the Irish, all these different Celtic Gaelic tribes. And I think there was a couple others that I'm probably forgetting. But so Rome came in and like started conquering it. And so Rome like set up the new Britain or whatever they called it then. I don't know. But then at a certain point, the Roman Empire collapsed and the Romans were like, well, we're gone. And so like the Romans, so like anyone who didn't really want to be there because they were just there because they were Romans left. And so what they left behind were like the remaining like Brittany's and Welsh people who had like grown up in this culture and society and who are now like fully like Roman society minded. And so, but as soon as the Romans left, like the Scottish and the Irish were like, we're going to take back our fucking land. And so like they started to come back, and the people the Romans had left behind were like, oh shit, the Romans are gone. Oh no, what do we do? Oh, why don't we invite the Anglos, this German tribe, to come here and fight these people off for us? And so that's what they did. And so then the Anglos came in, and then later the Saxons came in. The Saxons and the Anglos intermixed. And next thing you know, Anglo-Saxon is the law of the land, even though none of them were originally from England.
There's also a lot of the Vikings came over there too after that point. And
Vikings went everywhere.
Yeah,
the Vikings
that is true.
Vikings were wild like that. They were like, there's nowhere else Vikings I won't go.
Yeah, man. That Northern Europeans and all your
the
shit.
Vikings were also like, it's no wonder they turned out to be racist, because like they already had like a caste system to their society.
Oh yeah.
where they believe that if you were born with blue eyes and blonde hair, top rung, you're part of the elite. You deserve everything. Brown brown hair, maybe dark or blue eyes. You're middle class. You're right here. Yeah, you're okay, but you're not a problem. If you're born with red hair, ooh, okay, yeah, I'm sorry, you're a piece of shit. You're gonna be at the bottom rung of our society.
Oh man,
because being a redhead was associated with Loki.
Oh, okay.
So you were considered untrustworthy.
Is that where the redheaded stepchild thing comes from?
Probably. I can't say that for certain, but considering their belief systems, I'd say probably.
Okay. Because Loki is a redheaded stepchild.
Yes, although in the Marvel movies he has black hair.
He does. And he's pasty, but still has the whitish pastiest skin. So
the Scandinavians didn't judge people for being white though.
That's true.
That wasn't what got you.
Yes, the opaqueness of your skin didn't come into question.
If you looked too much like the Irish, definitely bottom of society.
Oh man. Well, I don't know. I don't want to cut this short, but I might have to cut this short anyways.
Well, here's what we'll do.
Okay.
Since this is the quote unquote Thanksgiving episode, let's say some stuff that we're thankful for before we go.
I like this. I would like to say I am thankful. I got a lot to be thankful for. I am thankful to have a roof over my head, thankful to have a good support community around me, grateful for friends and family, grateful for you, Ruben.
Oh.
And I'm grateful for your podcast that you put out here. I know you put a lot of time and thought into it. And
probably not as much as you think, but I appreciate that.
And just like I know I've said this before, but I do appreciate the way you sort of break things down, and you do it with I would say a stinging sense of humor.
Okay.
And I like it. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. A stinging sense of humor, a fresh sort of coming at you, I'm in your face. So yeah, that's what I got. And I'm thankful for, my dog. I'm thankful for my girlfriend. She puts up with my shit. And yeah, man. I'm even thankful for my employer who voted for Trump. I don't know if she still supports him, but she is one of the nicest people and one of the most supportive employers, supportive bosses that I've ever had. Nice. And it just kind of blows my mind when I go into work and I talk to her and I'm just like, you support Trump, but you're a good person. So it gives me hope out there that there are still good people.
Good people can be misled.
Yes.
Yeah. What a piece of shit is now trending in the United States, apparently. But I don't know who it's about. But it might still be the dad. Let's see, what am I thankful for? I will also say I'm thankful for this podcast. It's really given me something to keep me going. Constantly feel like I'm doing something, even though some days I'm like, oh, I gotta get an episode out, and I don't necessarily feel like it. But I'm grateful for the times that has led to some fun experimentation. I don't know how many people have listened to my Scotty and LeBork in the Morning episode, but I thought that episode was I liked that episode. And that episode exists because I recorded an episode the night before about Kanye that afterwards I was like, no, I don't want to publish this. I hate it. I instead made that. And I'm thankful to still have my house. At the beginning of the year, I thought there was a very real possibility that I was going to be homeless, and it ended up working out. I'm thankful for therapy. I'm thankful for medication. I'm thankful there was not a red wave. And I'm thankful that even though I don't get to see my kids very often, I'm thankful that I know that they are alive and well, and safe. And I'm thankful for the local improv community here in Ohio, who I've long been a part of it, but sometimes when I've been having a rough time, they've been sure to try and bring me into shows and include me, and I really appreciate that. Shout out to Imposters Theater, whatnot. So yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, man. Yay, improv.
and I'm thankful to you, Dean.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for coming on my show.
Anytime.
All right, happy Thanksgiving, everybody,
Happy Thanksgiving.
or as I refer to it, happy Turkey and Genocide Day.